guys. So I couldn't be here today, so what I'm trying to do is flip this a little bit so you can still hear me talking about Oedipus and understanding it, but you're responsible for actually doing some reading. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to read Ode 2. Ode 2 starts on page 339, runs through page 340. There is one vocabulary word in Ode 2. I want to make sure that you read it. Okay? So remember that when the chorus is speaking, that they are the voice of the people, and they're supposed to be the consciousness and what the community cares about and all those sorts of things. So make sure that you are reading it with that kind of an intent. Okay? Then after you read Ode 2, okay, I want you to go ahead and today you're also expected to read Scene 3. And Scene 3 in your packets is going to begin on page 342. So it should take you a few minutes to go ahead right now and read Scene 3. I want you to pause the video in just a second, read Scene 3. Then we're going to go back and I'm going to give you some pointers on some of the things you should annotate, but some of the things you should know how to annotate on your own. Okay, so pause it right now and come back in a second. Okay, so in Scene 3, we have Yocasta starting out, and I want to point out to you that doesn't really believe in what's going on in Oedipus's life. She doesn't really believe in the prophecies. She thinks those have been a bunch of hooey lately, and she isn't really digging it. So she's going to go back and forth with the messenger. On page 342, don't forget to highlight the 2 vocabulary words. And then on page 343, the messenger brings word that Polybus is dead. That's great news, right? Because Polybus is the king that was supposedly going to be killed by Oedipus, and that might just clear up everything with her husband. Okay, so hopefully you've read some of that stuff. Then on page 344, I want to make sure you see another vocabulary word. Don't forget that one. The king is dead, but notice that the messenger brings that message to Oedipus, and Oedipus is saying things like, was it treason? Was it by an attack of illness? No, he died of natural causes. Awesome. We're glad that he didn't die by the hand of his son. Oedipus is supposedly clear of what has happened. Okay? Then we look on, and Yocasta and Oedipus have a discussion on page 345. Oedipus is still upset because his mom, Merope, who he thinks is his mom, is still alive, and that's half of the prophecy. So he would feel so much better if she was no longer in the picture. He would feel a lot better. But unfortunately, she's still alive, except the messenger delivers that important message. The messenger says, wait a second. Don't forget that Merope isn't your real mom, that Merope is actually your adoptive mother. So no worries. Oedipus, not thrilled with it. That's going to make him feel more uncomfortable instead of more comfortable. Okay, page 346, he says things like, I fear that the oracle may come true. Oh my gosh, so much could happen. This could be crazy. And then line 965, bam, there's a huge line. Read what it says. Polybus was not your father. What? Remember, Oedipus had been told this by the guy that was drunk at the party, and Oedipus blew it off and listened to the oracle and didn't believe it. Well, now he's being told by another guy who he didn't know before that Polybus isn't his dad. That's a problem. Okay? He goes on to deliver some more bombshells. This messenger's got all kinds of information. On page 347, okay, I came upon you in the crooked paths of Kithaeron. What? When did you come upon me in the crooked paths of Kithaeron? Okay? Tending my flocks, I saved you. Oedipus says, or the messenger says, line right about 977, your ankle should tell you the truth. We as the audience, again, the dramatic irony, we all know that Oedipus is probably Oedipus. We all know because his ankles have been bound and he has these scars. But Oedipus seems oblivious to the fact that might be a connection. And so the messenger delivers this fatal blow. Boom. You are the son that you didn't think you were. Okay? Goes on again. Yocasta, how do you think she's going to react to this? It's going to catch on to her before it catches on to Oedipus. She's going to realize, oh my gosh, this is my son, long before Oedipus does. And she says, why think of him? Forget this herdsman, forget it all. This is on page 348, line 1000. This talk is a waste of time. She says, later on, listen to me. me, I beg you, do not do this thing. Don't ask any more questions. It's only going to cause problems. Oedipus is like, oh, come on. I need to know the truth. I need to solve everything for Thebes. And if you notice, Jocasta at the bottom of page 348 says, miserable. And she freaks out. She runs off stage. Guess what, guys? We're not going to see Jocasta again. She isn't taking this new spell. She's figured out what's going on, and she knows she can no longer continue the way she is. Okay, the Courageous, a little bit confused on page 349, but Oedipus thinks that Jocasta's upset because she realized that Oedipus isn't royal blood, and she's married to some schlum who isn't a big deal, and she thinks she's upset. He says, no matter how base my birth, I must know about it. I could be some servant's child. Oh my gosh, and here I am serving as king. That must be a terrible thing. My wife can't even bear it. Okay? She is really upset, and he says, well, maybe I can just get by. Maybe she'll understand. So that's the explanation, really quick, on scene 3. Watch the next video so you know what you need to do next.